Okay, I'm back, and so in the previous video we talked about what you're going to learn during the course of these videos on astronomy, and we also talked about some of the video resources that are available. So now here's some questions that you will be able to answer by the end of watching all of these videos. So if you want, you might want to get out a piece of paper and a pencil. You can pause me at this point, and as I go through these questions, just see how many of them that you can answer before you've seen all the videos. So for example, in lesson number 2, you will be able to answer the following question. Why are certain constellations visible only during certain times of the year? So for example, Orion is the one that has the 3 stars in the belt, and in North America you can see it normally during the winter time, but you don't see it during the summertime. Why? Okay, if you've once you've watched episode number 3 or lesson number 3, you will be able to know why do eclipses only happen 2 times a year. Okay, maybe you don't know what an eclipse is, but we'll learn about eclipses. There are these things that are called eclipse seasons, and so only twice a year do you see eclipses of the sun. Okay, then after you've done lesson number 4, you'll know why does a rocket ship in space only need to use its engines at the beginning and the end of its journey. So in between it coasts. Why? As you can see from that picture there, you'll also learn about crash dummies. And what's that got to do with astronomy? Well, you'll find out. Okay, then when you do lesson number 5, you'll know why does a planet orbit a star? And also you'll be able to know what's the shape of the orbit as well. In lesson number 6, you'll learn about an electric stove. And so when you turn on the electric stove, it changes colors, and it also changes temperature, and it also changes brightness. Well, that also describes how stars work. So that depending on the temperature of the star, it has a certain color and a certain brightness. And we'll learn about that. And there's even a formula, a mathematical formula, that will explain that. But don't worry, everything is algebra in here. So, so the course is designed, the videos are designed so that 75% is concepts, and we only talk about mathematics about 25% of the time. Okay, let's go on here. And in lesson number 7, we'll learn a little bit about chemistry. And we're going to learn about that particular airship there called the Hindenburg, and why did it explode. So it's applied chemistry. Then in episode number 8, we will learn about telescopes. In lesson number 9, now we go into unit 2. And in unit 2, we're going to talk about the solar system and the planets. So in lesson number 9, we're going to find out where did the solar system come from? How did it form? In lesson 10, we're going to learn about geology, and we're going to learn about the geology of the Earth, and then we're going to apply it to the geology of the terrestrial planets. So we'll learn what is plate tectonics and how does that cause volcanoes and earthquakes and mountain building. Then we're going to go on to lesson number 11, and we're going to apply the geology to, can you tell me what the inner planets are? Okay, so that's going to be Mercury, and then Venus, and then Earth and Mars. So we're going to apply the geology of the Earth to those planets, and we're going to find out why are they so different today. And then we're going to learn about weather. So that is going to be lesson number 12, Earth weather. And then we're going to apply that weather to the Jovian planets, the gas giants. In lesson number 13, we are going to talk about Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. We'll also talk about the debris of the solar system, and we're going to talk about Pluto. And then we're also going to be talking about asteroids and comets. So you will know what killed off the dinosaurs, or at least what we think killed off the dinosaurs. In lesson number 14, we're going to then open up our discussion of planets to include other planets in our galaxy, and how are they alike our planets and how are they different. Okay, then when we go into lesson 15, we go into a new unit, and we're going to learn about the stars. So in lesson 15, we're going to talk about how do stars generate their energy. And in lesson 16, we are going to measure those stars, and we're going to find out that they have different colors, different temperatures, different brightnesses, and we're going to catalog all of that onto a single sheet of paper called the Hertzsprung-Russell diagram. Then in lesson 17, we're going to talk about how are stars born. In lesson 18, we'll talk about how do stars die. In lesson number 19, we go into Unit 4, where we expand our topics to the universe itself. So in lesson 19, we talk about galaxies. In lesson 20, we talk about measuring the distances to objects in our universe. And then in lesson 21, we're going to talk about the objects that are inside protons and neutrons, which are in turn are inside nucleuses, which in turn are inside of atoms. So we're going to be talking about the most teeny tiny particles that control our universe, and also the forces that control our universe. In lesson 20, we're going to talk about the Big Bang Theory. Where did everything come from? In lesson 23, we're going to go into the future and find out what's going to happen. And then in lesson 24, we talk about how did life originate on Earth, and what's the possibility of life on other planets. So that's a snapshot of what we're going to be learning here. So let's take a break, and then when we come back, we're going to be talking about how the universe is arranged. So I'll see you then.